Welcome to Home Gardening 480.
I did trim the tomatoes a little bit a couple days ago, but I just finished watching an author named Charles Dowding. He's from the UK. He has several books, and he has a YouTube channel about no-dig method, which you could probably say this is what this is, but in a slightly raised bed. Anyway, he talked about he did a video and I watched it about tomatoes, and the season is progressing, and he trims his tomatoes and then he tops his tomatoes because he wants them to spend their energy ripening the fruit that's on the plant. So it is November 27th, just after Thanksgiving, and I don't expect these tomatoes to make it to Christmas. It has been a bit warm. There may be a frost before Christmas, whatnot, but we have quite a few flowers and small tomatoes on some of them. But one of the things that Charles Dowding does in his little How to Grow Tomatoes and the No-Dig Method is he trims up the lower leaves when they start to get discolored, and then he also trims out these little suckers that kind of grow in the what I would call the armpit. You know, when you get a branch out and then you have the little thing growing up right here, you want to pinch those off. And there are some that I had left because they were already so big. So I just left them. If they had tomatoes on them, I left them. If they were bigger than half the plant, I left it. So anyway, one of the things he does is he goes and he just tops the plant. At some point in the season, he just trims the very top so it stops growing at the top. But he says you're always going to have a lot of offshoots that you're going to keep going, so you have to trim those as well. So what's the variety here? Is this Early Girl? So Early Girl should have been a bit earlier. This one has one tomato here that I can see. I think this one just has one. But what he also does is he just snaps off the lower leaves, because he made a statement. He said 80% of the photosynthesis, the plant growth, is from the top of the plant. So one thing he does is he just comes along and trims those, snaps these lower discolored leaves off. Well, there we go. Anyway, I'm going to come back later and pick up these and put them in the little compost. But like this one too. And you can trim them too. You don't have to rip them with your fingers. But anyway, just trims them up and cleans up the bottom of the plant. And then he says to always come along and again look for those little side shoots. Kind of pinch them off. If they're really small, you don't need any scissors in it. Look, there's a little spider right there. You see it?
Yep.
Anyway, so I'm going to take this bunch off. This one shouldn't be here. I didn't realize that.
Big one.
I missed it before, yeah. But there's no, there's beginning of some flowers here, but there's no flowers and no fruit on it. So I'll just take it off. And it leaves a lot more room in the plant. And there's some flowers up here. Again, those there, we'll probably have a couple tomatoes from this little group here. But again, just want to watch out for those side shoots that are going to try to sprout up. So this plant can focus on ripening and growing tomatoes. Trim the lower branches.
As long as they don't have flowers.
Yeah, as long as they don't have flowers. Yeah. And if you want to trim back certain ones with flowers, it's your decision how far along those are. But you see there's a new side shoot that just come up from the side there.
Yes.
Can you see that?
Yep.
So I'm just going to pinch that off. Because this plant is thinking, I need to grow. And I'm saying, I want you to grow my way so that we can get more good fruit here. And some of the problems is that they're growing too thick. There's a little shoot coming up the middle. You can't see anything, so that's the other part of it. You need good ventilation. Otherwise you'll get mold and blight and other things, tomato diseases. Now this one, does this one have any tomatoes on it right now? I see some flowers over here. I don't see any tomatoes on there though. I don't see any tomatoes on this one. Alright, so what's off to our next variety? I just want to say I got these knee pads at Home Depot so that I can be comfortable. Anyway, they were $13 on sale in the little tool section. So, I think it's a good buy. Just trim some of these at the bottom, the trim. There's somebody growing where it shouldn't be growing. I think it's this one. Three small tomatoes, so hopefully trimming the plant will give it a little...
One tomato, right?
There's three. That's
right
what I said. All on this little, what would have been a little flower set. Oh, I'm gonna cut here. This is a big section, but it needs to go. Okay. So you can see we've done some trimming, tried to kind of stop a bunch of really early flowers from blooming right now because we just want it to focus on what it has. This has been a good experiment. This variety is called Husky Red Cherry, I think. What's the tag say?
Husky, yep.
Anyway, I've got 2 tomatoes over here. I've got, I think some other tomatoes inside here. This one is pretty, it's short and branches out a lot. And there's a lot of little side shoots to take off here. So I'm going to start at the bottom and trim. Oh, there's a bunch of tomatoes down here.
Now moving into the last one.
Yeah.
Of the Husky cherry.
Oh, whoops. Let me get that one there.
This one you can see also has some tomatoes right here on this side.
And it's been down into the upper 40s at night here, so it's not too cold. But again, I expect it to freeze soon. Just taking the tops here. You know what that means? There's going to be a lot more side shoots pretty soon from these. Anyway, this one here. There's another side shoot there. There's more.
How about the bottom one of this one?
More side shoots on this. The bottom one, what?
Of this tree here.
Yes, I need
Tomato
to
plant.
trim the leaves here that are getting discolored. And yes, there's more side shoots. These are new side shoots. And you can see here, these little lettuces I planted, what, 2.5 weeks ago. They're just starting to take off.
That one, that one, that one.
Yep.
And then this one.
And We've got some transplants that need to go in the ground because they're kind of stalled out.
So now that all the tomatoes plants are being trimmed, the purpose of the trimming of the tomatoes is so that the plant itself focuses and spends its energy in growing the tomatoes that are already coming out, instead of spending its energy on growing the new leaves and arms that the tree or the plant starts springing out. So hopefully by doing this trimming, the tomatoes starts to grow faster now that the plant has been pruned. So that's something that we're expecting to happen, and hopefully the growth of the tomatoes expedites. So thanks for checking in with us, and we'll see you guys next time.